And that, okay, sorry. And that is allowing way more of these energies to come in than before. And also, like the electromagnetic um, skin around the Earth has loosened its grip, like it's less dense than normal. That's why we feel the solar flare so much. Plus, these damages to
Okay.
the atmosphere is allowing all of a sudden the solar energy can come in so much stronger. The sun has gone from yellow to white in the last 50
Yes.
years. I don't know if anyone's noticed. Yeah.
Yes.
And and all the gamma rays, everything coming in, some of it comes straight down from the light of stars from far, far away worlds or from the sun. And all of them manage to end up in our atmosphere. And then we've got other particles coming from intra-Earth, from Atlantis and Lemurian civilizations that left them for us here. These are coming in through volcanoes getting active, through big crystals getting ready to pop right out of big desert masses on Earth. And that's so we're getting crunched.
Mm,
We've got
okay.
some particles coming up from the ground. We've got particles coming from, the cosmos and the sun, and they're all floaty in the atmosphere. And then the question is, are we absorbing them?
Correct. Correct. And was the question I had because we've been talking about ascension for a long time on this show. And we've always called it like waves. I've never heard anyone call it particles whatsoever,
Mhm.
ever, in doing probably 3,500 interviews. It's always waves or energy. And you said it's a wave, but it gets absorbed into our body is a particle. And I started thinking, wow, wait a minute. What if we're just feeling all this stuff, but we're not embodying it? And that's why people are feeling so much tension because it's like it's all around them, but they can't be a part of the energies or they're not absorbing the energies to release all the density. And I thought, whoa, wait a minute.
Mhm.
We need to
So
take them in as particles.
there's a piece in there, like people that
Yeah.
resist ascension suffer a lot more from it. So there's a difference between people having ascension symptoms from people having symptoms related to resisting ascension.
Yeah.
So this is not a question. No one on this call resists ascension. We don't come on calls like this if we're in. What do I need to do?
Just do it now. Just get it. Is anybody like, just do it now? Let's just get it done. Anybody want to leave their current reality and just go into like the higher realm? Let me know.
But one something I want to say that's super important is that you know this process of us evolving from third density to fourth density bodies involves symptoms. You know, we can't just be like, "Yo, man, I meditate love and light," and then boom, it's all over. I got the Corvette, the mansion, the this, the that. I'm 5D, and then it's over. No, it's like it's an evolution process. You've seen a
Yes.
kid learning to walk. Like it's not like they just don't master it that one day. So this is our whole glandular system is getting rewired
Mm,
and changed. What the ascension particles do for you is they help speed up the process.
okay.
They don't
Okay.
they don't stop it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want it to
Right.
stop. We want it
No.
to be flowy and like
A-
just let's go.
and it's going to continue whether we like it or not, right? We're
Oh,
going to be in this soup of
yeah.
frequencies, and some people are just going to, I don't know what to do, and their bodies are rejecting or fighting, or they're fighting it. So we want to be able to open the absorption of this. I love that. Now, Julie, for people that aren't familiar with your work, how did you start opening up? I know for a long time you've been doing this, 30 plus years. How did all this start opening up for you?
Uh, okay, long story short, I've always been super intuitive.
Okay.
So I had a couple of like huge traumas under 10 years old because I could see all the energy and see the entities and see the this and see the that and then see the 3D reality
Mm,
and it didn't coordinate together,
yes.
like so one of the strangest things that happened when I was 7 years old in a church was I was just gazing at some entity in a woman, and I was like, wow, that thing's super scary looking.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, she's just, listening to mass. And all of a sudden, the thing I was looking at in her just turned around and looked at me. And I was like, shit, I'm not supposed to look at these things. So key things like that. And then some, abuse and trauma. And I would tend to throw myself into the other person doing the thing to me, right? So I started playing around being able to float in the field when I was very young.
Okay.
And then I was a rebellious teenager, super annoyed and drinking and smoking and whatever else I could do. And then around 22, I sort of rock bottom in university, and this master alchemist showed up in my life, and he was like,
Hmm.
you are not on the right path. You are not here to be a university professor. You're a healer. And I was
Wow.
like, whoa, 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 whoa. But then, from there on, of course, everything just chain balled, and I worked with him for 2.5 years, and like whatever. And then it just kept going from there until I understood that I had to ground my intellect and my intuition into my body. Though I was like, whoa, I was
Yes.
all over the place. I could go
Yeah.
visit other planets, but I wasn't here. I wasn't dealing with my emotions, my trauma, my
Mm.
body, like there was no, I wasn't doing anything here that was loving my vessel here.
Mm. Yeah.
So that was like a 30-year process of like high intellect, university, A+, summa cum laude, scholarships, PhD, bring it. I did it all, man. I had a lot of fun, but I was like, this is boring. Like, I can't talk about
Wow.
anything I love here. But
Wow.
my specialty was understanding how change happens. So I was already in there. Like, how does the social psyche
Yeah.
change? How do we go from one society to another? And then now I just do that, but inside people, you know? It's like, so
Wow.
in
Wow.
a nutshell.
When you see energy now, how do you see it? How does it, if you are working with someone, or we're talking about, ascension energies, do you see some of these energies, or do you feel them? Do they present to you in colors or textures or vibrations? Because I'm sure they're around, right? They're in our field at some
Oh,
level, and
they're
even negative things, right, that we don't want are in our field too, I'm sure.
So for me, after these traumatic experiences when I was a kid, what that led to was like I shut down the clairvoyance because like I don't need all this visual information. Like if we're going to work, you're going to give me a way that I can actually stay grounded and be
Yes.
aware. So it switched from clairvoyance to clairknowing. And that
Mm,
was like, wow, that's just like it's like quantum downloads, one shot. And I just know everything about the person, their childhood, the trauma, that this, the that,
really?
what I can't talk about with them. And it's just in 1 second. It's like a hologram that comes in. And for a long time, that's all I had to go on. Right. So then I was like, okay, so how am I going to talk to this person about this? And then eventually, once I got back in my body, then clairsentience was there. So now I have the download, and I feel everything in my body going on in the other person. So that's like,
Mm.
okay, now that works good together. The knowing and the feeling together, good mix for me. Clairvoyance, I'm not sure I would ever really want to reactivate it that much. It's very distracting.
Wow. All right. We are getting some amazing information from Julie Claire. And I got to ask y'all, would you like Julie to get that download, or maybe be able to help you today? Because I think we may have some time to take some callers. So raise your hand, because we are going to be talking more about this. Marion says yes, and a lot of other people. Julie, yes. Sahari, yes. Yeah, definitely raise your hand. Um, I'm very excited as to how you're able to intuit all this energy within someone and what's going on around them. Because the big story is, how is our body actually receiving and dealing with all of these ascension particles and energies? And you've said there's 7 ascension particles that are kind of coming in and emanating around us and from different spaces. Can you go through those? I have a list, but can you go through them, and or should I ask you about each one? I know like the first one is a solar
Yeah,
ascension particles. Okay.
I can go through each one. One thing I want to say before I even go there is just
Yeah.
the condition. The condition. We all need to understand this. The condition for us to finally transition out of 3D is to stop being in fear and worry and looking for power and security and safety all the time. These are lower 3D frequencies. And it's really like it's really easy to someone to like just relax and everything will be fine. But it's like, no, literally, like if you don't relax and consciously breathe and just like be available, 95% of these particles can't be absorbed in your body.
Oh,
You
okay.
need to be calm and receptive. As
Hmm.
it as with anything else in life, like your guides and ascended masters, it's very hard for them to talk to you if you're all stressed out too. So that, like that necessity of cultivating serene states as we go through this transition is by far the most important thing you need to do to be able to absorb more of them. And then it's just about activating the doorways more. So the 7 ascension particles, 7 kinds, they all have like these super fine little roles that they play in activating certain glands or systems. Or
Okay.
so we've got the solar particles, which solar particles have been coming at us forever. It's always been part of our reality. Like, when how does sun on your skin become vitamin D in your body?
Yeah,
Like, because
it goes
you
from
absorbed it.
yeah, it
You
goes
absorbed
from
it.
yeah, ray to actual physical.
Exactly. That's the transition from wave to particle, right? Like, so
Uh,
it's not like this is new. It's just quantum physics understood that. They're like, if I look at something in a not a microphone, what's that thing called?
Microscope.
Microscope. Thank you. French speaker over here. Uh, and that's what they realized in quantum physics 100 years ago. If my intention when I look in the microscope is to look at a particle, I will see a particle and I won't see a wave anymore. But if my intention is to look at a wave, I will see a wave and I won't see a particle anymore. And that's the same thing I'm looking at. So that was the big, the wave and the particle are the same thing. It's the same thing. It's not one or the other. It's just, it's the format they're in
Yes.
based on how you are looking at it. So when you decide, I want to absorb energy, I want to absorb this, you are absorbing it as a particle that's going into your cells.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little mind thing, right? Like it's like the quantum brain thing to understand. So the solar ones have been around forever, right? But the sun has had a huge shift. That's
Okay.
when it went from yellow to white. That was a huge, huge shift that happened 50-ish years ago. And the ones that come from there are always about us evolving within this solar system, like our evolution
Ah,
within
okay.
the solar system, right? Because that's the heart of our solar. That's the heart of our solar system. And then the second type of particle are the pranic particles, prana. So these two have been around forever. We've always had those, like everyone knows about prana. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Sorry. So
I know the questions will throw
I
you
can't
off.
help myself. I'm like, oh,
Hi,
I gotta
Lydia.
prana.
We'll get to it. Don't worry.
I just want to make sure it's not something about something I just said, right? And then like I can just
Yeah.
correct it right away or give the information. So prana has been around forever, man. The yogis were working with that 5,000 years ago. That's why they could live like 749-year cycles, no problem, which is our normal human growth cycle. Imagine that.
Seven
Like
49-year cycles. So they were like 300 some years old, I would assume. 7 times 49 is like,
350 is like the minimal
wow.
age we should get to if our body was functioning properly. That's the
Boy,
minimum we
ah,
should get.
yeah, but now, yeah, we could get into so we're gonna get into
I'm
all
trying to
this.
talk about particles here.
So this does affect our, I mean, so just as a corollary though, our health is affected by how we are receiving or not receiving all this energy. I mean, it's right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Like
we'll get to that.
that's the goal of this. Like, so this is another little parenthesis here.
Hmm.
If you decide full time that this is what you devote your life to ascension and to absorbing the energies and to working with them and to this and to that, you can have a huge shift in your body structure in 5 years. If you're doing this part time, it could be 20 to 30.
Yeah,
It's just the reality of anything else. It's the spiritual gym. How much you go is how fit you're going to be and
yeah.
how much you can take it, right? So okay, so the solar particles and the pranic particles have been around for a long time. It's just that they are being infused with a lot more energy now because of all the other little high frequency particles floating around. So these two we know already. We've heard these words before: solar, pranic. Okay, good. Then the next little gang are called the crystalline particles, and these are They're so awesome. So there's the terrestrial crystalline particles and the celestial crystalline particles. So some are coming from, some are coming from the cosmos, and
Okay.
some are coming from the huge crystals under the earth, under the deserts, which are coded with a lot of information, all left to us
Yeah.
by Atlantis. So that's the
Yes.
Atlantis. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I hate to jump in. I want to get to all of them, but there's so much to unpack here. This has
I
stuck with
know.
me for the last like 2 weeks since we talked. You said they are things left in the earth from these ancient civilizations, and then some of the weather and earthquakes and volcanoes is
Oh
all
yeah.
part of the process. Explain a little bit about this. Can we unpack this just for a bit? And let me know, are y'all enjoying this and getting kind of a different feeling? Are you feeling any energies? Do you need to take a drink of water? Let us know, because I'm already feeling like just tingly. Like I feel like I'm by becoming aware of the particles, like I'm more aware of them, and they're like sort of now something I can feel. They're becoming a structure that I'm aware of, I guess. Let me know, everyone. But yeah, yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people saying yes, yes. Wade says yes. Now someone's gonna say, Darius, just shut up and let Julie talk. That's fine too. I don't mind doing that. No, no one said that yet, but they will if I talk to it. So tell us about what was put in the earth.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll get to that in 1 second. I just want to like talk like these crystalline particles, because I just want to talk about the celestial ones for a second before, and
Okay.
then the terrestrial ones, which are coming from the earth. So the celestial crystalline particles are coming from a bunch of different allies, Arcturians and blah blah blah. All these allies. It's like it comes from the heart of the cosmos, and it's like, oh my God, they're like that's it. They're in this ascension where the whole collective can actually ascend with their physical bodies, which is super rare. Okay. So they're all sending us like high fives and like, here's the energy you need to upgrade your bodies faster. And we're like, woo. So that's for the celestial ones. And I'll talk a little bit about what they're doing in our body, which it might really help them understand why they're suffering so much. And then the terrestrial crystalline particles, they are the ones left by the period of Atlantis when it was still super high frequency, because it kind of went downhill at a certain point. So before that downhill, I want more power bullshit thing happened. Okay. Before that happened, they were very, very evolved, and they infused their knowledge and their scientific knowledge into crystals.
Mm.
Okay. So this is the thing.
Oh,
Everyone's looking for old pyramids down in the ocean. The what Atlantis is giving us is scientific information encoded into crystals that we will not be able to receive until we have evolved enough to understand how to decode information out of a crystal. It's a beautiful failsafe. It's beautiful. If you're not evolved
wow.
enough, you won't be able to receive that information. Same thing with the Orion particles, but let me just, 1 second. So there are crystals the size of freaking buildings, okay, under the earth, under deserts, and it's like they put them there. they put them there and they infused them, and slowly but surely, I think in the next 40-50 years, we're going to start seeing some of these huge crystals start popping right out of deserts like Gobi, Sahara, just like the big deserts of the world. That's
Wow.
the places from which the terrestrial crystalline particles from Atlantis are like, they're just like, they're emanating right out of crystals. They're
Mm.
emanating. And then the ones right after that are the adamantine particles, and they
Okay.
are given to us by the Lemurians.
I
Okay.
just got chills when you said that. I mean, literally, I'm like got goosebumps. Everyone feeling that? What is it about these adamantine part? Yeah, goosebumps, says
I know,
Mary.
me
Yeah.
too. I'm like, woo! Because like I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna let them know that it's not only are these like, this is not like a separation thing where like these particles are coming and we're these like passive things and we're receiving them. When you realign your body enough to absorb these particles, it's like prana. If you understand what you're doing, you can
Oh,
emit them. You can emit them from your sacred heart space.
it's
So you can actually
energy.
be someone emitting more of these into the atmosphere.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
whoa.
Well, is that what you're doing? I think you are. because so you're saying these adamantine crystals are basically, like you said, it's like prana. So it's energy, it's life force energy that we're like taking in if we can receive it, and then we could emanate it out. Uh,
Yes, well,
Keep
specifically the
going.
adamantines, right? So
Yeah, the
like
adamantines.
Lemurians came from another place and they came here. They were 5D beings. They came here. The earth was still 3D, but they were 5D beings. They brought 5D frequency here. When they came in with that 5D frequency, they infused the particles into the heart of the earth and into the heart of every human being that was ever going to be born after that, because we're born from the earth. So we all have these particles dormant in our heart center, and they were just waiting to be activated. But the way the adamantine particles are coming up into the atmosphere is they're coming up. I know, wow. They come up through the volcanoes. You think these things are super destructive, and
Hmm.
meanwhile, they're what's opening everything up to more change, right? So the tectonic plates shift, and since Lemuria and Atlantis, they went intra-Earth, like the ones that kind of stuck around after, and that's what they did. They infused huge crystals inside the Earth, and then that's what's getting moved. Like the tectonic plate shift, lava comes up, volcanoes erupt, new land masses are being formed. We're going to see other land masses that we haven't seen before either. So all that is what's releasing the ones coming from inside the earth up. And then there's two left after that, the
Okay.
Orion particles
Okay.
and the sixth dimensional particles. So the Orion particles are coming from Orion. The Orion particles are specialized in uh, the knowledge of how to build just societies. Wow.
Wow.
But, but just like the coded crystals, that information only becomes available once you're upper 4D, because it would be too easy to use it.
Hmm.
This is the thing, right?
Right.
Power is power, man. Like knowledge is power. You put knowledge in the wrong hands and you have slavery. You put knowledge in the right hands, you have freedom. It's the same knowledge,
Totally.
like, yeah. And the six dimensionals are, they kind of like, they they kind of whirlwind around the Orion ones, and they help us go even further, because here in Orion are two stargates that allow us to slowly go back to where we're actually from. That's for another
Oh,
call
wait a minute. That's for another.
altogether.
Wait. Go back through the Stargate to what we were. Okay, we'll get to that one. Wow. Okay. God, these are incredible. Julie, people are going to say, well, Julie, when you work with people or when you look at people, let's say we take a couple callers in a little while, what do you do? I mean, tell us kind of how you see and then how you move people to actually
Yeah,
activate and uptake these ascension particles so they can have these revolutionary like shifts and become part of this energy versus kind of a victim of it or kind of jostled around, by the energy.
yeah. um the way I work, like let's say there's like four levels of spiritual work. There's do it for me,
Hmm.
there's do it with me, there's watch me do it myself, and there's let's do it together. So for me, and the way I see, so generally speaking, my specialty is working with people that are transitioning between let's do it together and watch me do it, like witness me doing it for myself, right? So my skill and my goal is always to help someone see that's what's in the way. That's what's in the way. That emotion you're holding on to, that story you're holding on to, that energy that's in your liver, that this, that. So, and then we go there together, because I want to help. I want to teach people how to fish. I don't want to
Yes.
give you a fish. I want us to do this together. So I'm a companion. I'm not above anyone. I'm like walking this path. We're all doing it together. So my objective is always what is going on in your body that needs to be
Yes.
addressed. Because when we don't have anything that needs to be addressed, everything flows,
Mm.
right? So I want to teach the person how to understand how to go and love and bring energy where there's an energy in them that needs attention. If it's something negative that's not even from you, the more you reclaim that space, the less that can stay there. So even extraction, I don't tend to do it that much because it's like then there's a hole there. I want you
Yes.
to go back in there completely. And you're like, hey, there's no room in here for you. I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And we're going to talk about that because it sounds like what's happening is as all these energies are kind of coming in and these particles are all getting activated, it feels like, as I plug into people all over the world, that these densities that people are holding on to, they become sometimes more obvious or they start to create agitation or physical
God.
imbalances. Like, what are you seeing? What are some signs maybe that you're seeing in clients or people all over the world that, okay, there is something here that now is being called to be released because of this ascension process. What shows up? I don't want to use the word symptom, but it's like, what are the signs?
Hmm. Well, like the first thing I want to say is like, if ever someone's like, why do I feel worse than before? It's like, chances are
Mhm.
that that's not true. It's just that you feel more than before.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. See, I've always thought like I would watch and I would think about like people years ago, right? And if I like kill a bug, right, and I don't, I'll like take the little piece of paper and put the bug on the paper and like move it outside because I'm like, one day I might wind up in a place that I shouldn't be, right? Like the bugs in my house, I'm like, hey, I'm probably going to be somewhere that I'm not at home with, and I hope someone lifts me up and brings me to. So I never kill bugs, right? And I just think like if I do squash a bug, like I feel like crap about it. And I think years ago, some of the stuff I hear historically that humans were doing, and I just think I can't even kill a bug. How can people live with some of the things that were done to other human living beings? So what you said was key. We're more aware of it, right? We're just like yeah. Go ahead. Just totally
Oh, yeah.
resonates.
So let's say like they have each of these particles have very specific functions, so
Okay.
like for example, the like one of the most important things that needs to happen for the the higher frequency chakras that absorb some of these particles to activate is we need to purge. So it's like
Mm,
the second module is literally called the plexus purge because that's what the celestine particles do. The celestial crystalline particles, they come in, and
hmm.
whatever you're holding on to, whatever low frequency thoughts and emotions and psychic toxins that you've been holding on to for far too long, they will start screaming now.
Oh,
These
yeah.
crystalline particles amplify the crap out of whatever you haven't processed. So then you could be like, oh my God, why is all this sudden? It's been in there all that time.
Yeah.
It was just stuck in your liver and stuck in your stomach and stuck in your constipation and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, so the celestial ones are kind of like, come on. They're kind of like hitting at us, like, come on, plexus purge, purge all these old emotions, all that karma, all that wound, all that past, all these memories, all of that. It's got to get out of there because your plexus cannot function properly.
Wow.
So that's purging a whole bunch of stuff, right? And then and then you've got other ones that are helping to literally reshape your pineal and pituitary glands. So then that means your memory's all weird. You're getting like
Yes.
you're getting I've been getting hot flashes for 4 years, and I'm like, are they hot flashes? For all I know, for all I know, that's something completely different, right? And so it's like their ascension. You cannot go into 5D carrying a bunch of clunky crap.
Okay.
Can't.
Yeah. You
It
can.
needs to be taken out. And no one can take it out for you. Well, okay, when we give permission, things can take things out of us. But if there's a hole left there, we're just going to fill it up with more stories.
Yeah.
So, like
Yeah.
the more we purge it out, then it starts activating the higher chakras. Then it starts activating the ability to go from upper 3D, and then flip into 4D, and then play around in 4D for a bit until we get to 5D. And like 3D is kind of like power, safety, control. 4D is like, whoa, now I'm aware of everything around me. It doesn't mean you're
Yes.
going to be a good person about it because you can be
Yes.
conscious. Grays are 4D. They're conscious. It doesn't
That
mean
is
they're
true.
nice. You know, 5D is what you need to enter the love frequency. So, 4D is a place you don't want to mess around too long. You want to, you want to go up faster than slower.
This I want to get to some questions, and when I have guests like you on, that I mean, you've dropped so many nuggets of stargates, gateways,
And I
things
haven't
in
even started.
4D. You haven't even started. We could go everywhere. But I agree with that when you say 4D isn't a place you want to stay very long. And I know a lot of people that once they become aware of some of these levels and they're doing meditations, activations, traveling maybe through to 4D, etc., they're picking up a lot of stuff and they're channeling all sorts of things and they don't really know maybe what it is that they're channeling, what they're picking up on, whether it's of the light, whether it's not. And so,
Yeah.
like you said, you don't want to stay there too long. And so it's very wise and very true. Julie, what I want to do, I know maybe some people want to ask you a question or two. If we take a couple callers, what can we do? What would be a way to proceed with some callers today, or maybe help them identify some things or see what's going on maybe in their field that could be holding them back from really.
So, yeah. So I have my question would be, could we would we be open to maybe doing like a little group thing and do the activation of the 9 physical doorways, and then if people have, how to say this, then they'll have something very specific, like, hey, when we did that, like, I'm not feeling it here, or maybe it's up to you, like it's your show and your structure, right? I would tend to want to do that, like just go in a 15-minute process, boom, activate the physical doorways, and then see what's showing up in the field for the people that just received that activation.
I think we're going to have time to do the first activation, which I think we're going to be doing. I have it written somewhere here. The triple heart activation. I think we have time to do that. Maybe we have you come back and we do the other one, if that's
Yeah.
okay. So we'll do the triple heart, if that's okay. Okay, yeah, I see it here. We're going to do the triple heart activation, if that's okay. The triple heart connection and intention breath.
It's like, yeah,
Uh,
it's one thing. We can do that as well. I can blast it really fast. It's
okay,
just,
so
but
let's
let me
do
know first. Are you okay with us doing the group thing first, or
Uh, yeah, okay,
no?
let's do it then. No, that's fine. We can do it. It's going to be 15 minutes or uh actually
Max.
let's do this. Okay, let's do that. That's fine.
So, okay. So the physical doorways for the ascension particles, okay? Okay, there's 9 of them. Your 2 eyes, your 2 ears, your 2 nostrils, your mouth, your belly button, and your skin. Okay, easy peasy.
Okay.
So just center. Nice big inhale. Center yourself in your heart. Triple heart connection is a very, very simple process. There is a line of light that goes through you. It comes all the way from the heart of God. It enters your crown. It goes through your central line. It goes down all the way into the heart of Gaia. So you've got the heart of God on top, the heart of Gaia on the bottom, and your heart is the bridge. Your heart is the bridge that unites the celestial and terrestrial energies together. So I want you to just imagine that you can inhale, and you're inhaling the heart of God into your crown, into your heart, and the heart of Gaia into your root and into your heart. So you're inhaling, and from the heart of God and the heart of Gaia, you're bringing these 2 frequencies into your heart space. So nice big inhale, and you kind of swirl it around the heart. And then when you exhale, it's like rays of a sun, 360 degrees from your heart space. So inhaling from the heart of God and the heart of Gaia at once into your heart, swirl it around. And exhale like rays of the sun, 360 degrees everywhere around your body. Now, just for fun, just try to feel like when you're inhaling and you're bringing it in, and then you exhale these rays from your heart, feel the rays going through your physical skin. Feel the rays going into your subtle bodies. Feel the rays go all the way to the outskirt of your aura. So the way we activate the doorways is through the frequency of the heart. So nice big inhale, heart of God, heart of Gaia. You're inhaling into your heart. And when you're ready, you're going to exhale and you're going to bring that heart energy into your palms. So a nice big inhale. We're going to do it three times. So inhaling that energy into your heart and exhaling it from your heart down your arms into your palms. And our intention here is to activate the physical doorways of reception. So grab your hands full of the heart energy, full of what bridges the celestial and terrestrial, and put them over your eyes. Just a couple of seconds, put them over your eyes. I activate my eyes, and then put them over your ears. I activate my ears. Put them over your nostrils. I activate the nostrils. Over your mouth. I activate the mouth. Both hands over your belly button. I activate the belly button. And then just feel all of the skin. Inhale that energy from God and Gaia into your heart. Swirl it. Exhale with the intention that you are activating the skin. Okay, and now just imagine that you can breathe through the pores of your skin. There's millions of pores. And you are inhaling, you are bringing in the particles. They are everywhere in the atmosphere. You don't even need to differentiate. Your nervous system understands exactly how to differentiate and tell which particle, where to go, which organ, which gland, which stitch. You don't need to worry about that. Your job is to inhale these particles, and you're inhaling them into the skin, and just allow yourself to feel how they all go into the central nervous system, right into the spine. And from there, they will receive their information of where they need to go and what they need to do. So serene state of consciousness and super conscious breathing. Breathing with intention. I am inhaling, I am bringing the particles in through the pores of my skin. I am inhaling, I am bringing the particles in through my belly button. I am inhaling and I'm bringing the particles into my mouth, my nostrils, my ears, my eyes. Okay, and then from there, I'm curious to find out, like, so in my program, this goes on for like an hour. So we go deeper and deeper and deeper. But from there, I would be interested in finding out what's going on and what people need assistance with.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, let's ask everyone, what did you feel? We kind of did a little opening here. What did you feel? And maybe where did you feel it or not feel it? And we could take some callers, and now we have a place to go. So Glenn said tears and yawns nonstop.
Yes,
Love it.
that's good.
It's a little bitty taster. Feeling calmness. Nice. Nice. Very good. Keep sharing with us, and raise your hand as well if you have a question about this process with Julie Claire, and maybe what you felt, what you actually did or didn't feel, and where you need to go. So a lot of people feeling a lot of stuff. Energy went to their eyes, went to their head. My body is tingling. Yeah, they're going to feel it 100%. Feeling emotional. Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, lots of energy went to my eyes, feeling heat in my crown chakra, sleeping and yawning. I think they're all going to feel really good, Julie. I'll tell you, I can feel it. It feels really good as they're absorbing it. Skin feels warm. You know, I think in this space, they're going to feel everything good. Let me know if you've got a question for Julie about something maybe outside of the process or just kind of that you've been dealing with. As you've been kind of moving through these times, let me know. Everybody's feeling good. April, if you want to raise your hand. April said, I feel like so beat up by the world. I can't stop crying. Almost went out of my body. better able to handle the pain right now, though. Another person, I felt mainly in my eyes. So let me know if you've got a challenge. This is one of the things that we're going to dive into here as we take a couple folks' questions. Let me know what you've been feeling or what maybe you need help with today. Let me go to Shelly. Shelly, if you could raise your hand, I'm going to unmute you here. Shelly, you had your hand raised. I know we did an amazing process. And what's going on either from the process or maybe what was going on before you got on the call that caused you to raise your hand? Let's see if we can get Shelly to unmute here. Let's see here. Shelly's not unmuted yet. Hold on a second. All right. Well, let's see what we got. Okay. Then I'm going to go to Linda. Linda, you are here with your hand raised. See if we can get you to unmute there.
Hi.
Hey, Linda.
Yeah, it's my knee. It's the interior, right by the knee joint, so to speak. I think it's a ligament. I had an injury in it many years ago, and the pain had just started kicking in again. And I think I broke my left foot, but I'm not sure because there's a lot of swelling.
I'm more aware of your left foot than your right knee right now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I just drove 3 hours, so
Yeah.
Um,
So, okay, this isn't really related to Ascension Particles, but what I would like you to do is
Okay.
we're gonna do it together. Both of us, we're gonna send a bunch of super light blue energy with a bunch of silver powder in it. So
Perfect.
just imagine silvery light blue energy in your left foot.
Okay, I
Just
can
play with
see
that.
it.
Just at least lower down that inflammation.
Feeling better.
Yeah. And just like almost imagine that you could like just take the plug out of the root chakra, the chakra under your foot, so that we can get some of that pain
Okay,
out.
I'm pulling it out. I'm pulling it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel it coming out. It feels much better.
Yeah, that's much better
Nice.
already.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. I'm going to, just for the sake of time, looking at the clock, I want to get some more callers. And yeah, there may be things not related to what we did that they've been waiting to ask you about, because a lot of people, these folks raised their hands early on, right when we came on. So we'll just take it as it comes. But remember this, Julie, as she shared, like she kind of sees the hologram of everything. So we're going to just kind of work with different stuff that she's seeing and help folks as much as we can. I've got Heather W, who's a guest, and anything, if you want to share what you felt in the process or what you didn't feel, or maybe something else, just let us know. Heather W, how are you? And what's going on today? I'm feeling wonky from that process, so I got to get myself grounded. Felt so good. Let's see. I'm unmuting folks, but maybe they're still off absorbing particles. Hey, Heather. Yeah, I can hear you.
I thought the process was very peaceful.
Yes.
To me, it's just like that's more of who I am. It's just being more me. If that makes And so, and if I could ask a question, I think we all would love this. How to jump over so that you feel that you're worthy enough for money, for prosperity. Like I'm very good at attracting things. I can get almost anything I want, but I'm not good at having big figure bank accounts. And I've been working on that, and anything that the entire group could use.
Yeah. So for me, this comes back to, okay, I don't know how to go about this. So for me, like the true abundance is when you have finally come back to the deepest truth that you will always have what you need when you need it. And so it's like the part of us that still wants to have these big bank accounts, it's like the part of us trying to deal with 3D. But we do not have a perspective allowing us to see where the world's going to be in 20 years at all yet. You know, so I'm not someone that spends a lot of time trying to like accumulate. I understand the I would like that too. I'm not saying that's not cool, but I don't focus my process on that because it's about the abundance of energy, the abundance of health, the abundance of self-love. And from there, everything else is just kind of like a joke. Everything else just gets very magical and kind of fun. And then you almost have more fun with less. So that's probably not the answer you want to hear, but the more you expand your field and the more you reclaim your much higher frequency and your birthright to be free and shine bright, to be a love and light being, a lot of these preoccupations will kind of go away. Just the fact, Heather, that you have no difficulty manifesting what you want when you want it, that's huge. That's huge. That's huge.
Does that make sense, Heather?
It does, but no, I don't want to use but there. It does. And I have a hard time giving myself 100% credit when like my mortgage is like this month.
Okay. So you're like, in that. Yeah,
I'm getting paid Thursday and I'll pay it then, but it was due on the 1st. But if I told myself I wanted pink socks with flying leopards on it, I could probably walk into somewhere within 10 minutes and get it. And so it just feels a little like that I'm doing something wrong.
What you just said, Heather, is you know, the 3D stuff, it's hard for me to actually manifest it, but the 5D stuff, like that, you know, like something that my heart really wants, boom, I got it, it's there.
Yeah.
Something that's about what society's telling me I have to do, sludgier.
That
There's
is
something
true.
incredible in there. Like,
do you sense, Julie, as you kind of tap into her, is there something in that hologram that is, as you said, like making this 3D part a little more sticky than like the 5D? Is there something that is showing up there? Because that's true. You made a great point. Like she can manifest at 5D very easily. What are you seeing in her particularly?
Well, it's kind of like parts that are still calibrating in 3D and other parts that are already hanging out in upper and lower 5D. So you've got like parts that are like kind of 3D-ish and other ones 5D-ish, and then you're like, how do I work this, man? Like, you know, so and this is like all of us are going through this right now as the world is changing and mutating, not only our bodies, but Gaia is as well. All of our social systems, our economic systems, our political systems, everything's in mutation. It's your ability to remain peaceful, even if you only pay your mortgage on Thursday instead of Monday, has more impact on your ability to generate abundance than trying to figure out how can I generate more abundance.
For me, it's also very helpful to be reminded that I'm asking to perfect 3D when the whole point of 3D is that it's not perfect.
Yeah, that's very well said. Yeah, remember 3D is about control and security. That's what our brain is stuck in when we're in 3D. How do I keep my body safe? How do I not get eaten by the tiger? How do I make sure my kids eat? Control and safety.
And that's not fun.
Let's go up.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what I'm getting. We got a bunch of people unmuted. Everybody wants to chat with Julie. You said something really clear. You said like her money is in 3D, but everything else she wants is in 5D. So here's the thing, right? Absorb everything so you can stay in 5D, and now your money becomes like 5D, and money becomes fun. Money becomes flow. Money becomes greater purpose, greater alignment, joy. And now it's not in that old structure. I mean, I think what people are rejecting now is the old structure and the way they've been doing money, which is not the way we want to do it anymore. So, that's exactly what I was through that dialogue. And I think she's getting that. I want to get to a couple more questions, and we're gonna keep going here with some incredible things that Julie Claire is uncovering. Let me know also what you've been feeling. I want to get to another question from a caller. And as we dive in here, we got a few more people here. I want to go to, let's see, I'm going to go to none other than, let me go to Barb. Barb, how are you doing today? And what's going on with you? B-A-R-B. There's Barb. Barb, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Barb.
Hey, what's happening? How was that process for you? A little taster of absorbing some of these particles.
Well, that was very good. I felt it went immediately to my lung, and I released something. Felt like I had a heart attack or something in another timeline that was being released. Something to do with that. And I feel, I felt a little woozy afterwards, but I'm feeling better now.
Barb, I want to say something. Barb, I want to say something very important. One of the symptoms when we absorb these particles can be heart arrhythmia sometimes, which is a good sign that like, yeah. I'm like, whoa, really? Like, okay, sorry.
Yeah, because just lately I've been dealing with a lot of it, just for no reason, just feeling this intense anxiety and fear, and some of it I feel is not my stuff. That I'm absorbing other stuff or feeling the collective or Gaia, and I've been really feeling that lately, and I was guided to listen to this program. I just think that came through to listen to this, and part of my mission, I felt I've got the messages that for me is to come from the heart and the love. So that I felt that's very important with this.
Absolutely. Okay, so I want to say a couple of things. I haven't had a chance to talk about that yet, but I talked about the physical doorways, the energetic doorways, the evolutionary chakras. One of them is between the plexus and the heart, and it's called the clairsentience chakra. It's like magenta color, but this is like what that plexus purge, what these crystalline celestial particles do is they make that purge need to come out even more. And the more we purge from our plexus, all the emotions that we're carrying, some of them aren't ours, some of them are from past lives, some of them are other people's emotions that we took into our body, so all of that is getting purged out of us. And the more that clairsentience chakra activates, it's in the emotional body. It's not in the normal like line of the 7 chakras. It's in the emotional body. What starts happening is we start becoming more and more and more able to feel energies and intentions. So it's like, it's really tricky. Like most people, ignorance is bliss. Most people that don't want to ascend, they want to stay in 3D, because you start activating these chakras, you start feeling the frequency of everything people are thinking about you, or energies being thrown at you, or what you're thinking about someone and how it would actually affect them. And then once the upper 40 chakras activate that's related to this one, then you will start being able to project yourself into a situation, go through the whole scenario of what you would do, and actually see what it would cause as emotional repercussions, not only in the person you're talking to, but everyone around them. Man, that is a lot of responsibility to have. We can't have that while we still have all these emotions and clunky stuff. So what I'm hearing, what you're saying is you are having a plexus purge. And that's a good thing.
I felt like I was purging something. I just didn't know what.
Wow.
Beside myself.
Okay, Barb. It sounds like things are moving. I mean, we're all going through these different, I guess, processes as we ascend, and these frequencies are either getting absorbed by us or not. And I know you help us accelerate this. As we kind of move through this, one of the things that you do is help people accelerate this. Tell me a little bit about maybe why it would be better to get some help as we kind of move through this versus just kind of going through it on our own. I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of jarring. I mean, it's kind of it's a tough thing for humanity, as we can see everywhere. Like there's just so much going on.
And it's, once again, like, let's put this in perspective. This is an entire overhaul of a body from carbon-based to silica-based. Yeah. And that's not just our body. That's Earth too. Because like, this is the thing with these particles, right? They're like miniature little crystals. And what they do is their frequency, it makes crystals form even faster.
Okay.
So like, as these waves, as the ascension waves hit the Earth and they go into the Earth, the particles of these waves start making crystals form like way faster. That's why we're going to have these huge crystals that are going to come out of the Earth. It's not that, like, they're forming. And the inside of the Earth, all the minerals that are low frequency are becoming crystal. Like, the entire inner mantle of the Earth is going to be crystal. And our bodies, right? So all of this is happening. The whole, like, Gaia is evolving, our bodies are evolving, all the freaking systems we've got going on here, which are completely dysfunctional, will not be able to continue to work. And then we've got all these planets aligning and all this funky stuff going on. We're not going to recognize this world in 20, 30 years. Like, even in 2 years, I don't even know what to expect. Like, that's how fast the change is able to happen.
Wow.
When I first started doing this work with Ascension Particles, it was 5 years ago. You know, so the people, like the testimonials, they're from 5 years ago. These people, it's like, it's crazy how far they've come, you know, since then. And they're like, I wouldn't be able to work the way I'm working right now or understand what I need to bring into the world if I hadn't done that, because it super augmented the amount of light I could hold, and it forces you to purge. Just purge that crap out of you already. Like, you know, the ancestral patterns and the wounds and the this and the karma, and like, we can't bring any of that with us.
Yeah, it's almost like it's holding us back, right? And so does anybody feel, a lot of people felt the process and it was like, oh, I feel like myself, or I felt peace. There's so many of these, but I get the sense that this baggage keeps us kind of from getting to that 5D. And like you said, if we're dancing around 4D, we can pick up stuff, because there's a lot of things in 4D that are not what we want. And yet we've got to let go of the baggage so we can get to 5D. Does that make sense for everybody? And would you like to find out a little more about what Julie is doing to actually, I guess, accelerate and activate this in a way that, well, it's never been done before. We've never talked about ascension particles. I've never heard this before. There's things we couldn't even get into, like gateways and other things that we need to dive into with Julie.
Talk about the glands and the this.
Well, yeah, we didn't even get to talk about the body, because there's a glandular response to this as well. I want to dive in. A lot of people would like to hear more about what you do and get deeper. And she is definitely a very powerful soul. We're going to be diving into a little bit of her work and what Julie does. And I think the way to do that is to keep taking questions, but also share a little bit about how you do this with people all over the world and how you're going to do it for people at UWealth Revolution who maybe want to dive in. And it is actually at this page, uwealthrevolution.com/ascend, ASCEND, or you can just go to Julie C as well, but I wanted to do ascend because it's a very easy to correlate to what Julie is doing. ASCEND, uwealthrevolution.com/ascend. And tell me really quick, one of the things you're doing here, Julie, with Ascension Particles is helping people here at UWealth Revolution to accelerate the process from 3D to 5D, right? Why do we want to get to 5D? Like what is, you know, what is the, and I mean, I know it's great, but what is it that if we stay in 3D, what does it look like? If we get to 5D, particularly our bodies, what might that start to look like? Kind of the high level.
Yeah, I think we already know what's going to happen if we stay in 3D. Like, eventually the stuff's just going to self-implode, you know? I don't know how far I want to go down that road, but just like, you know, like we have this like global warming, blah, blah stuff going on right now. But that peak of heat will then be followed by a cooling down. And fluctuations of temperature might be very radical in the next 100 years, right? So with a crystalline based body, it's not the end of the world that temperatures fluctuate a lot. If you are still in a carbon-based 3D body, that's going to be hard. Right. So there's a couple of things here. It's kind of cool. Like everyone's talking about that, right? The two Earths, you know, the 3D and the 5D timelines.
I've always heard about that timeline. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah. So basically, it's kind of like there really will be a splitting, and there really will be a 3D Earth that will eventually kind of like fall apart because, okay, that's the parentheses that I was mentioning earlier. We're in a false light matrix, and the whole Milky Way galaxy is a dark Merkaba star system. It's not real. We're from Andromeda. We're from Eartha. And I don't know how they did it, but they managed to chip off and then it created the Milky Way. But Orion and us, we are the two stargates that are directly reconnected to where we're from. So eventually this whole Milky Way galaxy they can already tell you that, astronomers are like, eventually it'll disappear, it'll get re-eaten by Andromeda, because it's bullshit what was done in the first place, and it's not allowed, and it will eventually resorb. So in that process, whoever stays 3D wants to stay in the dark light matrix. Basically.
Yeah, you're speaking my language there. Yeah.
And some of them do want to stay. Some of them
can only exist in the dark light. Let's really kind of pull the wrapper back here. They are beings masquerading, at least I believe, as humans that can only stay in the 3D dark light matrix. That's why they perpetuate what's kind of the system and the suffering and the pain, because they need it. They can't ascend. So and if we ascend without them, their world is over. So
because we are their energy source, right? They're not eternal beings anymore. They are trying to be immortal.
Yeah.
So whatever, that's like a whole soul hijacking.
That's a whole nother thing. But basically, if you want to, and here we are, right? These human beings, right? Living in this time. And we don't want all of this stuff that we've been dealing with forever. And it's now so prevalent. This is where I love, this is a doorway. You call it the effortless restructuring of physical, mental, and spiritual reality to embody the crystalline frequency. So think of this as kind of like a bridge, right? And Julie's going to help you. We got all sorts of things happening. One of the things we wanted to do, because I knew this was going to be very popular, I knew we were going to be able to go as far down into this as possible. This is like a bridge to accelerate out of this old world and the things you don't necessarily want to have that you're feeling. You're constantly having to rework this or go back through this or peel the onion here. You've got two opportunities, and we really asked Julie. We knew a lot of people may want to be working with Julie. So I'm going to say we've got, for the first 33 people, time with this beautiful being of light, 45 minutes with Julie Claire. We've got a discount. After that, the price goes up, and you can read everything about it. It's at uwealthrevolution.com/Julie C, or you can go to Ascend as well. You're going to be doing live group calls. You're going to be walking through everything. We're going to talk about it, but I want to make note, if you want to grab time with Julie, 45 minutes for the first 33 people. We've got it right here. It says beautiful Julie. She is ready to help you. And anything you want to say about that? And I know we really said, please. We'll only do a few of them. I know people are going to love it. Anything you want to say about that? And then I want to go through your modules, because this is not that we haven't even scratched the surface. And I want to go through the modules. So
you don't want to go through the modules?
I do want to go through the modules, but I wanted to start with this because there's going to be like that first 33 that are going to be like, I want to just get this now, and then I'll go through the modules too. But tell me about time with you and what you do, Julie. And then there'll be others that will, they may miss the early bird, but they're going to want it anyway because it's so valuable.
Yeah. So something I wrote in that text for there, it's like, ideally you would do your 45-minute session with me once you've gone through a couple of the modules, right? Because then you'll have a better idea of what's kind of like what we just did now. But, that said, like when I work one-on-one with someone, it's very similar. It looks like what I did in many doses. I feel in my body what's going on in the other person. And from there, I keep inviting you to go there. I keep inviting you to discover that you can go there, and I'm going to go in there with you, and we're going to pick specific colors or maybe more advanced tools if needed, if it's more intense, and we will do the work together. My goal is always that you walk away knowing you did it. All I did was hang out with you, amplify the energy, and offer you some guidance. And the shifts are way bigger and more permanent because you've done it yourself. That is such, I can't give enough value to that. Because once you understand after, wow, I had this thing, we went there, and then I kind of decoded, and the more I stayed, the more it opened up, and then I just kind of held it and hung out, and then eventually it dissolved. Rinse, what's that expression?
Rinse, wash, repeat.
Rinse, repeat.
Wash, rinse, repeat. Sorry.
It's like, and then that's the goal. Like, I want everyone to be their own healer because we all are. There's no, like, it's not like some people are and some people aren't. It's just, we just need to come back to our spiritual senses. We just need to ground our essence and come back to our spiritual senses. And that's what my auric field offers you in a session. I'm like, come on, you can do this, you know? And then we lock in, and I lock into your body. Everything gets amplified. Whatever's just uncomfortable there will get amplified. And then we're like, yay. And we go hang out with it. And then you actually learn, like, oh my God, this can be fun.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. And, you know, what I love about this is you are accelerating their ascension process. And this particular piece, you're also, for those that want to do package B, although A is amazing, you're also going to do a 3-hour, I hope I'm not wrong on this, a 3-hour live group call that is going to be expansion of the 6 evolutionary chakras part 2. So anything you want to share about this, because this is also part of package B, and a lot more you're going to be doing here. We got just everything to really accelerate this process out of the 3D carbon and move into accelerating the 5D crystalline. I want to get more into that split because I do think that's so clear. Julie, I've been saying this since 2012. I saw, I got to say real quick, and not to pat myself on the shoulder, it was really like I kept saying, thinking I was insane on this show, that there was like these two earths kind of splitting. And every time I would see different things happening on Earth, I was like, yep, they're trying to lock people in 3D. They're trying to keep us in the fear grid. They're trying to get more loose. They're trying to change our DNA. They're trying to, you know, make us do this or that, to change our body, to lock us into fear, to cut off our third eye, to, you know, disable the pineal. Everything was like, I get what they're doing because they can't survive in the higher realm. So they've got to suppress us all down. And everything that was happening on the planet, every time I was like, yep, that's what that is. That's what I could see it. It was like so dang clear. And you've just confirmed that. So, I mean, I thank you for that. But without all going into that story.
Wait. Let's have a mini parenthesis there about that story. It's like the reality is, you know, the 5D Earth will not be inhabitable by people that stay fully 3D. The conditions are not going to allow it anymore. That's why they want to go to Mars.
Oh.
But the people that do embody higher 4D and 5D energies are going to be perfectly fine here. And this is going to be a cool planet to be on.
Wow.
A crystalline planet with crystalline beings. It's the first time in the whole history that a whole humanity, an entire collective of humans, will transition collectively with the planet that they're on. That's crazy amazing.
Wow. We could get into this whole Mars thing even deeper, but I imagine, I got to say, my dear graphic designer, Michelle, did an incredible job here, because this looks to me like a crystalline being, right? So hats off to,
So the two packages, simply put, like the big difference between the two packages is, which are both amazing. Package A has all of the Ascension particle work. So it's like activations, a whole bunch of them working with all these different things, and a 3-hour live group call. Just specifically amplify the activation of the evolutionary chakras, because these chakras are upper 3D, lower upper 4D, and 5D. So it's like you can't activate a 5D chakra if you're still 3D. Like it's just, they activate naturally as you go up in frequency, as you let go of power and control and this and that, the natural ascension happens. So package A has the Ascension Particles activation program and a 3-hour live call. And then package B has these two things, plus plus 2 other programs that help you go even deeper into the work, and a 45-minute session with me. It's just crazy. I've never done anything like this. So it took someone like Darius to do that.
Yeah, I said, can we do a lot, but make it super affordable? And package B is enormous. I want to share really quick. Package A is also enormous. Sorry, my screen's going wild here. I'm feeling the energies. These modules, they're very particular by design. And they're very specific in how they work. And these are Ascension Particle Activation Programs, AP or APAP. Tell me about each one of these, because for people that just do package BA, they're going to get, this is just $147, but it's also for the first 22. It's an early bird price. Tell me about each one. The first one is, and this, everyone will keep the discussion going. If you're loving this conversation, go raise your hand. If you're getting a lot out of this today, like more than normal, where we're just, I find, Julie, like when we get into uncharted territory, like we're talking about stuff, it's activating in people this knowledge that maybe they have, right? So
of course they have it.
The coolest thing is we're going to keep sharing. And I forgot to cut the live stream. So I'm going to just let everyone know, if you've been watching us on YouTube, I'm going to cut the live stream. Everyone here is good, but check out what Julie is doing. It's at uwealthrevolution.com